So I got a very specific question in my inbox, and it's about voiceover coaching. And I think that the way this person has structured the question was very nice, and I think that this would be very helpful for a lot of people and, for him as well. So he says, narration is what I'm probably best suited for, but at this point, I'm not entirely sure what areas of voiceover would be best for me. I'm also interested in doing commercials and e-learning narration. Several years ago, I did take a few classes from Mark Cashman and Nancy Wolfson. Those are two pretty big names in the industry, but I ended up working as a laboratory tech. I've grown pretty tired of that field, and I'm now looking to give voiceover a more serious attempt. I'm even considering taking some business courses this upcoming fall semester at my local community college because I know self-promotion and business savvy is a huge part of the job in voiceover. However, my main focus right now is getting my abilities where they need to be, where I can make a quality demo. I'd like to find a coach who's not only great at developing that, but can help me get started in the industry. So I would say that the way you're thinking about this is very smart and is a really great starting point. A lot of people find their passion and initial drive for the industry and thinking, I loved Cartoon Network growing up and I want to be a voice of a Cartoon Network character, which is fantastic and wonderful. And I think that's a great thing to want for yourself. This is also a the entertainment industry is a very difficult industry. And there's I think just being an artist in any artistic industry can be very difficult because there's no singular approach. Things are not objective, everything is subjective. And throughout all of it, there's this battle between your artistry and trying to live to your creative potential and purpose and discover who you truly are and what your expression in this world is, while also having the nature of this industry push against that because they're hiring you to be their voice, then their expression and all of these other things, and to fit in a mold and to fit in where the niches are in the industry. And I can go on and on. So I think it's great that you are open to doing e-learning and commercials and narration and things like that, because when you're getting started, although many people are excited about animation and video games, when you're getting started, there is so much technical ability that you need to learn to be able to handle those really exciting opportunities. If you started voiceover tomorrow and in 3 months you got this big animation gig with Cartoon Network and they say, we want you to hop on Source Connect next Tuesday, get ready for the session. It's probably going to be about a 4-hour session. We might send you the script the morning of or the day before or whatever it is. Or you hop on the session and they say, hey, we have an updated script. Let's send that over to you. There's probably going to be so much going on and you're going to be so overwhelmed by everything that it probably won't be the most enjoyable experience for you. So that being said, I think starting with e-learning, narration, commercials, just getting your feet wet is the perfect place to start. There's tons of work in that realm. Tons of businesses need voiceover for trainings and e-learnings and all these types of things. So you're off to a good start, Adam. There's plenty of work for you out there. In terms of thinking of what you're best suited for, I wouldn't worry about that too much or at all. You're going to find out what your voice is. You're going to find out who you are. You're going to find out where you like to fit yourself once you've been doing this long enough. In terms of knowing, more rough basics of where you belong, think about who your own demographic is. So for me, I'm a woman. I have allergies right now, but typically my voice is a bit more clear. I tend to fit more into like protagonist roles. I'm not necessarily I don't have such a strange vocal quality that you listen to me and you're like, ooh, that sounds interesting. I have a very mainstream, clear, forward tone. I can have a lot of warmth in my voice. So knowing the qualities of your voice are important. Knowing what your demographic is important. Whenever you're listening to voiceovers out in the wild and you think, hey, that sounds like me, or that could have been me, or we would end up in the same casting room. We're the same type. Pay attention to those things. So, for example, if you have like a deep, raspy voice, maybe if you're a middle-aged man and you can pull off things that are maybe scary or really scientifically interesting or something like that. What's that guy's name? Robert Klomsky or something? He's the voice of Ancient Aliens and something Oak Island show, and he gets a lot of work on National Geographic or whether it's History Channel or whatever it is. Um, Pay attention to where you kind of hear versions of yourself out there, and that'll give you a good idea of what you could be suited for in a very easy, quick way, and that could be a quick entrance for you. In terms of taking classes, I think that's great that you went ahead and took classes. I personally think that the way we learn and that the way education works today is not the way that it was yesterday or a couple years ago. We used to be able to go to college and pay a bunch of money and have someone, a teacher or a mentor or something like that. And I think that the best approach to learning these days is absorb as much as you can on free platforms like YouTube, like this information that I'm giving you now. Take very affordable classes that are not personalized to you. So if somebody has an e-learning course, maybe I'll make one someday. Or I took a couple master class, I signed up for master class and just was taking master classes from Natalie Portman and this and that just to kind of, get perspective, figure out what I don't know, figure out what are things that I should even be thinking about and start working. And I think the best teacher is experience. So get on a platform and just start doing little recordings or give yourself projects. If you want to record an audiobook, record an audiobook. I think a demo is a really great way to practice as well. And I didn't get a voiceover coach, top of the industry voiceover coach, until I knew specifically what I wanted to work on. And that's that I already had agents. I had already been working for many years. I had already been taking acting classes and singing classes and all of this. And then I knew exactly what I wanted to focus on. And I had the funds to invest in it. And now I'm paying someone at the top of the industry every single month to sit down with me for an hour for very focused sessions. And that is the best use of my money at this level. When you're just getting started, that's a lot of money to put up to be meeting with someone regularly. And if you're not meeting with someone regularly, then you're probably not going to get as much bang for your buck as you're hoping for, because what it takes is a lot of learning over time, a lot of back and forth questions, things like that, which is why I say you want to absorb as much free information because you don't know what you don't know. And you need to just hear a little bit of everything. And then as you're working, more questions will come up. And as you get feedback from clients, more things will occur to you. So I would say little steps at a time. So once you've absorbed free information, maybe sign up for a couple e-learning courses from people that you find that you trust in the industry. And once you've gone through those courses and maybe gained a little golden nuggets from that, then maybe look at taking group classes that you're in more regularly, like I started with acting classes. And then after I had been in acting classes for a good year, I continued with that and then got myself a dialect coach, because then I was thinking, I want to work on accents, I want to have full access to my range, things like that. And it'll kind of grow naturally in that fashion. And you're considering taking business courses, yeah, I think that's great. Business is a huge part of voiceover. I never took any business classes. I wasn't really interested in that, showing up and going and taking business classes. I read books. So I read quite a few business books. And it taught me how to think more for my clients, how to be a really considerate service provider. And it also taught me how to kind of handle the hurdles of growing a business from infancy to intermediate business, things like that. So I read a lot of books. I think, the same thing with business. If you start looking up on free platforms, that will give you a really great start. And honestly, I think social media platforms, business advice is probably where you're going to get the best advice because that's the future. Social media is the now and it's the future, and it makes the most sense. So if you're listening to someone who really isn't tapped into that, how much are you getting anyways? Okay, so I'd like to find a coach who's not only great at developing skills on the mic, but can get me started in the industry. I know one person that gives a full industry prep, and his name is Chuck Duran. You can look him up here on YouTube at Demos That Rock. He has a great YouTube channel. He does like this kind of podcasty type of thing where he brings people in from the industry and interviews them, which would be great for you to listen to. And I think he does, it's might be pricey in your perspective, but I think he does do a full sit down to help you create a plan for getting yourself in this industry. Yeah, I hope all of that is helpful for you. If you have any additional questions, let me know, and I'll try my best to get back to you. And I hope that's helpful for everyone else as well. So I'll see you guys next time.